Just doing an update. It's Monday. Things happen over the weekend. I just want to talk about some of these projects and also something new that I'm going to be doing on the videos, just to help give you guys more information, let you know what I think about these projects. Um, so yeah, let's dig into this. First, let's talk about Matic Heaven. This launched almost 12 hours ago now. There are about 26,000 Matic deposited and a 20, almost 22 thousand balance. So with this, um, yeah, my last video was very bullish about this. Just be aware of a couple of issues that are going on. Um, and I'm hoping a lot of these are just front end. Well, actually, the first one I know is front end. This withdraw button. It's in the contract. It's in the audit. You can only withdraw every 24 hours. I mean, you can try to. It's just going to fail because that's according to the contract. That's not allowed. Um, so I wouldn't even try that. The other thing is, if you're getting referrals or want to get referrals, I still haven't seen any referrals come through. Um, I know some of you guys probably put something in on this on my using my link, and I really appreciate you guys using my link, but I haven't seen anything. I saw at least one other person report this problem, and I went on the group and I haven't seen anybody say that they've received any of those referral revenue, the bonuses. So that's one thing that I'm cautious about, because I know a lot of influencers and a lot of marketing um, use that as kind of an incentive to um, send people to these programs. So that one I'm still wondering about. So if you know that you use my link, please put it in the comments below. I'm just curious. I'm trying to work with the team over there and find out what's going on with that. But yeah, I mean, it's working pretty well. I mean, it's the code is almost the same as Phantom One Profit, so um, there's nothing different or new about this. And this is just a test account that I'm playing with. Um, yeah, again, you can jump in for 8 days. You get 17% of your deposit back daily. So basically, you make 36%, because that 100 that you get is basically your initial deposit, but it's back in the form of 17% daily rewards. So you're not going to make 17% on top of your initial. You're going to get 17% back daily. Just to clarify that. The same thing with this one. For 60 days, you'll get 7% daily. That doesn't mean you're going to get 7% on top of your initial. You're going to just, whatever you put in, you're going to get 7% of that daily, and your initial deposit's gone. That's how these things work. So you'll get your initial back in about, I think it works out to about 15, 16 days. And then anything after that is profit after that. Yeah, I like these because you can get these ones that allow you to withdraw daily, they're great because you can get your initial back quicker. And then after that, you can compound and do whatever you want. But this isn't financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do, but I highly advise people to get their initial out as fast as possible, and then they can take more risks and compound and do what they want after that. So yeah, that just launched. It is growing slowly. Some people get kind of hesitant, especially with Stable One and what's kind of going over there, and we'll talk about that in a second. That seems to be going pretty well. Phantom One Profit. People are. This is a very kind of cool project. I still don't like the front end, the weird translucent header, but that's just kind of aesthetics behind it. Some people said they were having trouble depositing, but I haven't had that issue. But I love the dashboard with all the numbers and all the information it gives you. And the cool thing about this is, I mean, was it like 3 days old, something like that. It's over a quarter million that's been deposited and creeping up near 200,000 FTM Phantom in the contract balance. So this is still growing. It's, my last video that I did solely on this project, I said, maybe a little bit. As this is still growing, I'd probably say, I might throw a little more into it. But yeah, it's up to you. This project's been great. This is my first venture into Phantom. I'm looking at a lot of their Phantom projects now. So yeah, that one's actually very promising. Very similar to Matic Heaven, 17% daily for 7 days. So it's a little bit less of a gain, but you get out sooner. It's risk versus reward. Making 19% in 7 days is still really good. And if you're, very bullish on this, you could recompound that. And every day, if you recompound that by, 28 days, you're close to, doubling your money, basically. Then the same thing over here, daily for 30 days. Yeah. The great thing about these is you can withdraw daily and you can recompound in. So after you get your initial out, you can recompound in. So it works pretty well. Yeah, that one's growing. Still pretty bullish on this. Just be aware that they said they're having trouble with some people depositing, like I said before, and they've got a brand new front end that they're going to be swapping out. That doesn't affect the contract because they can't change that code, but they can change the code on the front end because all it is a wrapper of how it interacts with the contract. So they are going to be swapping out this dashboard. They said in the next day or two. So just be aware of that. Matic Staker. Yeah, a lot of people are in on this. This balance just keeps going up. Yeah, the one thing I see with this is these ROI. This ROI just keeps going up and up and up. The problem with that is, if somebody puts in platinum here at 1600%, that's crazy. I mean, if you put in 100 Matic, you get 1600 back. If everybody did that at day 28, it would just drain the balance really quick. So really the key to this is the community coming together and reinvesting. If I were to get in on this today, would I suggest it? Yes, because this balance is very healthy. But I don't know if I wouldn't personally, this isn't advice, but I wouldn't go over like the 14 days. It's risk versus reward. Yeah, I would probably maybe even stick to the savings. I mean, this is very tempting. That 503% in 14 days is very tempting. And it will likely get to 14 days based on that balance. But this is just the safer bet. If you're riskier, you could go for it. But personally, I would think hard about this one, but I wouldn't go beyond those. And I'll explain that in a minute. So one thing that I want to talk to everybody about is, of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling anybody what to do. This is just for your information. You can take this information and make your own decisions based on this information. I am not liable for your losses or, hopefully you thank me for your gains. But yeah, if one of these just totally fails, I mean, I'm only making giving you the information that I have. And I try to find all the information, just present it to you the best way I can. I might give an opinion on what I might do. But that being said, one thing I'm going to start including in all my videos is this thing called a risk score. Because everything is, risk versus reward. And this is one thing that I'll start probably going through, especially on update videos, on how these might change, because these scores might change over time. With Matic Staker, for instance, that risk has gone up because those ROIs have really gone up. Stable One, even V2, everything that's gone on with draws, that risk has probably gone up because, a lot of people can't trust the community, um, or the devs behind it. The community's fine, but the devs behind it, it's harder to trust them when they've um, uh, really not treated some people very well. Um, Phantom One, I'd probably say that risk has gone down because that balance has gone up. Um, it's not just brand new. Matic Haven, yeah, let's just run through these and let's see what this looks like. So Stable One, when it first launched, I would probably get a risk of like 5. I mean, we're talking about ROI dApps. They're very risky, but we can't put 10 on every single one of them because we're trying to compare ROI dApps to each other. So when I first started talking about Stable One, I'd probably say it was a 5, but I'm going to say it's now a 7. And with profit, 7% daily, it's pretty similar to a lot of these. I mean, Phantom One is 6% or 17% if you're doing shorter term. Matic Haven is, 7 or 17%. So I think the profit's kind of right down the middle. So because that risk went up, the score came down. And so that's kind of what I'm looking at is like, is this profit worth this risk? And to me, anything under around 9 or 10, I would say I would not want to be in. But this is up to you. Maybe your risk tolerance is higher, so your score could be a little lower. Yeah, let's talk about Matic Staker. I mean, that risk has now gone up. I don't know if it's a 10 because I think, those 14-day plans are still viable. So let's put that risk at 8. I mean, it's getting up there in risk. But man, that profit is juicy. I mean, I don't know if you're going to find anything bigger than that in such a short time. So I'm going to go all the way to 10 on that. So, I mean, yeah, the score, it's up there. And all we're doing is taking the average of these and times them by 10. And that gives me a score of 13. So, I mean, it's probably still worth it. I mean, you can do what you want. You might say, hey, I don't want to jump in that 14-day, and that's totally up to you. Phantom One, when it launched, I would have given it probably a 7 or 8 because it was so small. That balance was tiny. And it was slowly going up, but I wouldn't have thrown it way up there. But right now, I think it's gone a little below average compared to the rest of these. And I'm going to give it a 4. And its profit, if you recompound some of these, like the 7%, that one's pretty good. So let's give that one a 6. I mean, that's a pretty good score. Matic Heaven, it's new. It's brand new. I think it might have a few bugs. I don't think any of them are going to be serious. I think all of them are going to be front-end fixes. But it is brand new. I mean, it hasn't even hit. Yeah, it hasn't even hit like 30,000 Matic yet. We're talking about these other projects. This one's over 3 million in the balance. So yeah, I would give the risk of this a 6, and I would also say the profit's probably a 6 too, because it's kind of on the same level as Phantom One on the Phantom network. I mean, it might be a little higher, but it's not much. Yeah, some of the daily ones are even the same. So let's go with 6 on that. So that's like an even 10. And this might change the next day or two. If that balance goes up, this risk might come down. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm seeing it. I mean, if I were to jump in one right now, if I had, a few hundred equivalent US dollars and to put into something, I'd probably go for the Phantom, and probably the 14-day unlock plan just to get my balance out quicker. And then Matic Heaven, I'd watch that one, put in a little bit maybe, But yeah, stable one, I don't know. I just don't know if I could um, go back over there, but that's totally up to you. So yeah, I'll be including these scores and doing a score assessment on each one of these that I talk about. Now, just remember, this is not financial advice. Again, I can't stress that enough in here. I'm not telling you, hey, you need to ape in onto Phantom 1 because it's gonna, go crazy. I can't predict that. But I'm just showing you the risk that I'm seeing and what the risk level that I'm comfortable with. You might be comfortable with the 7 and jump in over there. But it's totally up to you. Yeah, this is just for information only. I'm not saying what you should do. But I will leave links to these projects down below in the description. And I'll keep you updated on these, and I'm always looking for new ones. I know there's a new one coming out later this week that I'm excited about. That's from the community, and I'll be sharing that soon. Anyway, let me know if you have any questions or just any comments. Yeah, just leave those below. Anyway, we'll catch you on the next one.